West 73rd Street.
I fell in love just once, but then it had to be with you. 'Cause everything happens, everything happens to me.
We go. Trigger warning, spoiler alert. You are experiencing an outdoor New York City open street edition of the Tom Kelly Show. It is, at least I'm recording this on October 30th, the day before Halloween. I am sitting in the middle of Columbus Avenue. There are people in sort of, well, they're not really trying too hard, but sort of costumes walking past me right now. And, yeah, this is what... Exactly, sort of a comedian. And then, see, we're getting heckled there. Sort of funny, sort of trying on the costumes. This is the Columbus Avenue edition of New York City's Open Streets. What is Open Streets in New York City? Somewhere during the pandemic, everybody realized things are crazy, people are cranky. Why not open up the avenues one day a week so people could walk instead of drive? And it's kind of a weird half-assed thing, kind of like everything else in New York City. There's a band performing over there. You're supposed to not park your car on Columbus Avenue, and yet there's a guy behind me who seems to be just, maybe his car just couldn't start today, and I'm going to feel bad about that. So I kind of thought what I would do today is do what I have done once before, sit in the middle of the street. This time I took my nicer podcasting equipment or nice TV reporter equipment, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to sit here confidently and see if anybody talks to me while I'm talking to myself. Oh, for those of you listening to the audio version on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, yes, we're still doing that, friends. I'll describe the scene. There is a band playing across the way, a three-piece band. There's a giant bass, a trumpet, and a drum set. So if I'm complaining about lugging a camera down one flight of stairs, those guys had something rough. There's a good-looking man who looks like Clark Kent in a nice sweater walking past me. His significant other smiled. He could not care. And what else is going on behind me? And then, honestly, I'm going to sit here and see if any of the magic happens. But how are you? I'm a comedian. I'm very successful. What's your name? No, don't have time? Okay, good. See, and that's the other thing, too, about New York City. I can be out amongst millions of people, and nobody wants to talk to me. Oh, Kenny Bunkport, Maine, but she's like 12. We're not going to talk to the 12-year-old, but she's not 12, but she's like 16. And either way, still, but it's, you guys know, you're a fan of the podcast. You know I love Maine. So anyway, lots of things that can go wrong here at the podcast today. I have about $5,000 worth of camera just sitting there on the street corner right in front of me. So if I tick someone off, they could tackle me or tackle the camera. We had one or two crazy people walk by. There is a man on a speakerphone call with an open container of beer, dangerously close to my camera right now dangerously close to me, and walking further away. Rambling a bit here. First, rambling a bit as I wait. How are you? Do you like podcasts, sir? It's okay. Sit down. Be my guest for a minute. I have an extra chair because I'm trying to interview random people who look like they won't mug me. First, on the Tom Kelly Show, Open Streets Edition. I went out with somebody. I met up with somebody for a drink who's very nice, lives very far away, but she happens to be in New York City. Was kind of a last-minute bumble match. A nice person who's a mom, and kind of pleasant, a pleasant person. And she had a interesting thing that her kids were going to do something called trunk or treat. I don't know if people have heard of that. Sir, do you know what trunk or treat is? Everybody's ignoring me here. I am so confidently sitting here being ignored by all of New York City. What you're capturing today is how sad it is to be in New York City, surrounded by millions of people who do not really care you are alive. So back to me. Trunk or treat. Trunk or treat is a thing where instead of going trick-or-treating, what kids do, how are you guys? What kids do is they go trick-or-treating in a parking lot. And in the parking lot are pre-approved people who have brought their cars and treats, and they put the treats in their trunks, and then all the families participating know exactly how many treats to buy because everybody signs up ahead of time. And you know that the people selling the treats are not necessarily, kid touchers, pedophiles, or putting razor blades in candies, which was the big fear growing up in Brooklyn in the 1980s. That was the Halloween fear. Oh, my God, somebody's going to put a razor blade in a candy. I've Googled that story. I have never found that actually happening. But, yeah, there's a fear that somebody's going to do something messed up with the candy. And when you do the trunk or treat, you go to like the school parking lot. And I guess instead of like knocking on doors yelling trick or treat, it's like, I don't know, do they beep the horn? I don't know. Beep, beep, who knows? So that is the trunk or treat. And it's just funny. You know, when we were growing up in the 70s and 80s, and I think it was kind of over by the 90s, the big fear was, oh my God, they are putting razor blades in candy, okay? And the other big fear was, do not take candy from people in cars or in white vans. Now, what are we doing with trunk or treat? We have people who are in cars and in white vans giving out candy. I think we're just screwing up this generation every way possible. Instead of telling kids not to take candy from people in white vans, we are letting them and encouraging them to take candy from people in white vans. Now, the hope for the podcast today is that if I sit here confidently at this table for a long enough period of time that I will attract some form of attention, I'll build up new fans or listeners, or I'll find somebody colorful. And frankly, there is nobody interesting here whatsoever. I'm a lovely couple. Do you want to join me for a minute? I'm a comedian. I'm doing a quick podcast. Just for a second. This is what Open Streets is all about. Come on, sit down for a second, sir. What's your name and where you from?
John. I'm from, we travel in an RV. We have no home.
Really?
That's what we do, yeah.
Are you really like that? Because I have a friend who's doing that but living in a Toyota Prius.
We have an RV. We just rented up on the Upper West Side for 3 months, and then we put it in storage. But that's what we've been doing for the last few years.
Okay, so hang on. This is exactly why I decided to podcast on a street corner and not in my apartment. First of all, the two of them are beautiful. You could tell they have a sexual tension because she's on his lap and they're willing to live in an RV together. Now, first question for you is, what is more spacious, living in an RV or living in a New York City apartment?
New York City's a little bit bigger than what we have.
Not much.
Yeah, not much.
And the view is kind of tougher.
The view of
The view in a New York City apartment.
well, it's totally different.
Yeah,
It's two completely different things. But
Yeah.
we love Manhattan because we like all the comedians on the corners.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
We just went to see a
saw Tony
comedian.
Danza singing on the street.
He's singing
over
on the
here.
street.
Danza's here. Where's Tony Danza?
He was just singing by this restaurant.
Oh my God, I know which one he hangs out. Tony Danza! Come to 73rd Street! Tony Danza! Come to 73rd Street! Would you yell that for me, ma'am?
Oh no.
So you live in an RV, okay? Tony Danza! Oh my God, how great would it be if Tony Danza walked into my podcast?
That would be pretty cool.
Tell you this, he has a house. He has a house. Yeah, I mean, no, but you quite frankly might be more interesting than Tony Danza.
About that, but
I don't know. Seriously, what has he done since Who's the Boss? But back to you. Back to you. Oh, by the way, I will cut that out if Tony Danza shows up on the podcast. But back to us. This is a real fear for me too, going through the proverbial midlife crisis. You are you sold your Long Island real estate, and then everything shot up. So it's kind of scary because you may not be able to move back there. That's one of my fears right now.
The market went down.
The market went down.
Not the housing market. The stock market went down. The housing market went up.
Okay, and there's inflation, so whatever money you have in the bank is worth 7% less than a year ago, which is, and you'll have to know me.
Yeah.
Okay.
20% less. But
You think so?
Yeah, I do, but it'll come back. It always does.
Okay, so let's pause for a minute. Oh, the stock market's down 20%. I'm there, and then inflation's another 7%, or 7 to 10, roughly. Does it scare you? Does it make you say, holy crap, let me go back to Long Island, let me reopen the HVAC, let me go work in someone's air conditioning?
Absolutely not.
No.
Kind of
definitely not.
everything cycles. It will always come back. It always has in the history of this country, and it's going to come back, and it will be fun. It'll be fine.
And I'm asking myself as a guy as a stand-up comedian who is performing randomly on the street corner meeting strangers, you are just going to keep going confidently while the world is falling apart, and you know things will be better by the time you are whatever.
Yeah, kind of, anything can happen at any time. Everything does happen all the time, and it's,
Yeah, you know what?
just
You
go.
gotta, while you can do things, you got to do things. And if
Yeah.
you want to do something, don't wait to do it.
Yeah.
You really got to get out there.
So 3 months in New York City, you lived an hour and a half away. Why are you doing 3 months in Manhattan?
It's so much fun.
fun.
It is.
Is that something you've always wanted to do?
I worked in the city many years ago, and I always loved the city, but living in the city is completely different than coming in, working, and going home. So we get to really enjoy so many things while we're here.
So I guess the question is, you've lived two dreams here. You've raised a nice family, right? The kids are nice kids. You've now traveled the country. You're now living in the city, being adventurous for a bit while the glamper truck is in storage. How do you decide where to lay down chapter 3 of your life, or 4, whatever we're at?
It is very difficult. We talk about it all the time. We're like, ooh, we love Manhattan. Maybe we should think about that. Oh, we have a lot of friends on Long Island. Maybe we should go back there.
Florida.
And then we like warm, so we talk about Florida. We like fishing and stuff. So we are.
I'm going to let you go on this, but I'm a big fan of Newark, New Jersey.
Okay.
Good luck with you.
And he realized I was kidding. You know what I love? They're such nice people. They both looked for a second and thought, we don't want to poop on Newark. And then you're like, he's kidding. There you go. All right. So most interesting about what's happening right now is I went looking for Tony Danza. I have moved all of 1 block away from where I was. I'm now at the corner of 72nd and Columbus. And I found a live stand-up comedy show here at the corner, and I asked for a guest spot, and I am going to watch 2 funny comedians, and then I'm going to close out this show performing in the middle of the street. How exciting.
But we're going to keep the show going with our last comment.
Stick around, sir.
You
You're
have
going to love
seen
this
him
guy.
On The View, Good Morning America, and most recently, America's Got Talent. Let's give it up for Tom Kelly.
Woo! Oh my God! Keep clapping for me, people! 72nd and Columbus. Does it get better than this, people? I'm performing in the middle of Columbus Avenue. It's like it's 2020 all over again. Seriously, 2020 was rough. You think this show is rough. Folks, I did a show here 2 years ago when there was still traffic. Thank you, 5 people. Thank you. And this is, I love open streets, man. I give the city a round of applause for doing this. I think it's great that they're doing this. This is a celebration of everything that is great with New York City and everything that is wrong with New York City. Like right now, New York has changed, man. Like there's a restaurant in the middle of a bike lane right there. Listen, while you're out clapping for nurses during the pandemic, I am clapping for waiters and waitresses who have to cross the damn bike lane. Those are New York's heroes. That's how I judge a good restaurant now in New York City, is I try to judge a good restaurant by how many people are in the outdoor seating and how dangerous is the outdoor seating. And all I'm going to say is Pomodoro getting a Michelin star, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. I mean, seriously, I am here performing, and right now, 1 bag Grubhub order could kill me right now. We don't know. I'll explain what Grubhub is later, ma'am. If you guys want to check out my podcast, which is recorded here on the Upper West Side at 74th and Columbus, which, by the way, I'm not worried about stalkers because I'm trying. Nobody shows up. But I have a podcast about owning the midlife crisis. Ma'am, I just turned 40 about 6 years ago, and I am owning where I'm at in life. Ladies and gentlemen, I wear running shoes even when I'm not going for a run. That's right. I wear Apple AirPods just to shut out the noise. I don't even listen to music. They're not even charged. I just put them in my ears because I don't want people. If I had a lawn, I'd be the man who said, "Get the hell off my lawn." Oh my God. And I had a colonoscopy, ladies and gentlemen. I'm cancer-free. Yes. and nobody bought me dinner. That's the most action I've gotten in 2022, actually. I asked, can I do this again next week? And all I'm saying is my endocrinologist is ghosting me. New joke did not work in the middle of the street. Okay. My God, you're like the nicest human being ever. Oh my God, honest to God show, folks, I'm gonna keep this show going until traffic resumes on Columbus. How great would that be? Like after all the things New York has gone through, ladies and gentlemen, we shut down for protests, we shut down for the pandemic, and gosh darn it, we're shutting down for a comedy show starring a man in a thrift store blazer. That's right, Housing Works, ladies and gentlemen. Housing Works, $13. Do you know how much it costs to dry clean this in New York City? $15. So whenever I want to clean it, I donate it back to the Housing Works. I buy it back for $13. My savings, $2, people. I'm a recessionista. Has anybody seen Tony Danza? Well, okay, would you please go tweet him while I'm here, okay? Because my goal is to be on the Peacock remake of Who's the Boss. Should I have said Netflix? Would that have been funnier? Anyway, I'll explain what Netflix is later, ma'am. Thank you. Doesn't know what I mean. Okay. So listen, if you guys get a chance, I'm going to air this set and this experience on my podcast, The Tom Kelly Show. It started with me. I used to work over at Good Morning America, and then I got laid off 5 days before the pandemic. So you're looking at the least essential, non-essential worker in New York City. And it's about my comeback, which starts right here in the turning lane, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tom Kelly. Have a great night, everybody. So first, let me tell you where we're at in the podcast, people. That was just me performing on a street corner. They're closing up the street in a few minutes. There's beautiful people from the city taking all the rented chairs and putting them away. And Stephanie here has... Stephanie O. Yes. Who has no... Stephanie O, tell everybody where to find you on the Instagram and all that.
Okay, so my Instagram is standupsteph.o. That's STANDSTUP. Wait, is that right? STAND...
The link will be in the show notes. That's the important part. Let's not waste a...
I can spell, I promise. No, go.
Let's not ruin a good podcast with a spelling bee. But Stephanie is here in the middle of Columbus Avenue. They're wrapping up the chairs. Stephanie's mom was laughing the whole time. There's another woman who used to see me at all the TV shows. What's your name again? Karen, of course. But she's not. She is, but she's not. And Karen over here, she's seen me at The View. She's seen me at Rachel Ray. She has seen me. Is that about it, right? That's about it.
Yes. And I've seen all the shows. I actually think he's the best one. Really. I really actually do. I'm not just saying that because he's right here. No, he's not. He doesn't recognize me.
Karen
Listen,
she might be a plant. I don't know.
And I guess so Karen, I love you, and
Exactly, like I said.
and I'm sorry I called you Karen.
Yeah, that's okay. It's complicated.
Are you single?
It's complicated. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not looking. No, Stephanie's mom. Don't blow it here. At this point, I just need an audience.
Funny, that's half the battle, you know?
I'm pushing for Stephanie's mom. She's deflecting. She's trying to deflect me on Karen. So I want to end the show with something nice because So Stephanie here has this show. You must have organized it through the city.
I did. Right? Yeah.
So they already told you to be clean and stuff like that. Right?
Yes.
And then here I am showing up looking for Tony Danza. By the way, Tony Danza! Tony! Angela! Yes. Okay, still can't find Tony Danza.
He's not around.
But I was dragging my camera down the block. What's that? He was earlier. Yeah, he was singing earlier. 3 p.m. Thank you, beautiful woman. Thank you. So beautiful woman told me I'm only 3 hours behind on that. But here I am. The quest for Tony Danza led me to meet Stephanie O, Stephanie, what would make you put a random guy that you've never seen on TV or on your stage? Is it the blazer? Was it because I brought the camera? Or is it because I dropped the names of the shows? Or are you just that trusting?
I don't know how to answer this question. I think the blazer definitely sold it. I said that is a sharp a sugar
For real, like if I were dressed in a jeans and a t-shirt and a sweatshirt, like I'm wearing the nice blazer by accident, would you?
I never said it was nice, but the blazer sold me. But the blazer sold me. The blazer did sell me.
Okay. And this is why your mother's getting more action than you are in the middle of Columbus Avenue. It's that attitude.
Well, what sold me was honestly, I was like, I had my comics that I was going to do, and then you came up, and I actually had been texting some comics I know, I need people to come and do the show, and then you came out of nowhere. I was like, we're going to see. He's either going to do well or he's going to fail. We'll see.
I was an angel from heaven, is what you're saying.
I'll give that to you.
Strong word. Okay. Strong word. Okay. But, well, you know what? Bring the mom in. Get the mom in here. By the way, I want to point out for a second, here's the one thing that people on the audio podcast may not get, is Stephanie's mom was in the front row of the crowd laughing at all the jokes, wearing a mask outdoors. Fine. Fine. I respect that, okay? Fine.
Outdoors when I got it, like last summer.
Okay, thank you, Joe Rogan. Now, yeah, but all I'm going to say is I turn on the camera for the fine. I respect whatever you want, but all I'm going to say is I turn on the camera for the podcast. Suddenly, Stephanie's mom's mask is down. She's got eyeliner on. The sparkly gloves are out. She's got her Jessica Rabbit gloves on.
It's a different story when the camera starts rolling. Yeah.
Now, two things. One, Stephanie's hot mom. I heard a story that you met Tony Danza.
I did.
And how did that go?
He was very rude to me. But that's okay. I'll give him a pass because I love the show that he played on.
Okay. Could you do your best Tony Danza impersonation and say Angela?
Angela! Angela!
I think we're good.
So I want to end. That was actually really good. I think that's the ending of the podcast.
That was terrible.
That was unexpected, Yeah, she was good.
I feel like, listen, how about this? I feel like they want the chairs back and we have to go. I also feel like traffic wants the street back.
I think so. All of the above.
Okay. Stephanie's hot mom, do you have a closing piece of wisdom for people who might be going through a midlife crisis? Hello, come on, sit down with us for a minute. Okay, got to go by then. Talk to you later. All right, don't interrupt. Ma'am, you're blocking the goddamn camera. Get the hell out of the way. Come on, here we go. We're on television. You're blocking my camera, ma'am. Join us. Sit. Own it. Commit. Here we go. We're asking Steph. By the way, what's your name? Where you from? My name is Tony Danza. I was on a great show called Who's the Boss? Hold on, if you're going to be in, let me get the lady in. Ma'am, no? Okay. Mona!
We gotta wrap it up.
All right, we got to wrap it up. So, all right, you know what? That's the ending, me offending a stranger. Until next time, good night, New York.
Hey, why don't Italians like Jehovah's Witnesses?
Why?
Because we don't like no witnesses. Hey,
Fly me to the moon.
I'm
Let
Italian.
me
I can do
play
it.
among the stars. Let me know what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars.